Hello and welcome to Tarot and the Stars for the week of January 15th. You guys, this is a huge week in astrology. It's like the biggest week ever. The last time there was super huge news was back in 2020 with the Great Conjunction. And so it's been, there's been some time a cooking for this huge transformation. I'm also filming this on Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and I really want to express gratitude, collective gratitude for the path that his work paved to bring us closer to a more loving, equal, just society and world. And at the end of this Tarot and the Stars, I am going to share my screen with his I Have a Dream speech, and I invite you to watch it. It's incredibly powerful and incredibly moving, and it's aligned with the astrology of this week. So, can't make this kind of stuff up. So, I shuffled the oracle cards before getting on this session from Goddess Guidance, the Goddess Guidance oracle card, and the Goddess Guidance message that came is Butterfly Maiden Transformation. It says, you are experiencing enormous change right now, which brings great blessings. You are experiencing enormous change right now, which brings great blessings. I'm sure you can feel it percolating. Here is the transmission. As you go through this period of change, it's natural for you to wonder if your future is safe. I am here to assure you that you are part of nature's cycles of birth, death, and rebirth. To bring in your desired newness, you must first allow old parts of your life to fall away. These changes are to be celebrated, not feared. Give thanks for this shedding of the old. Embrace all of the lessons it brought and then let it go. Be giddy with excitement that the newness of the gifts that are being bestowed upon you, and let their magic surprise and delight you. Endings are bringing new beginnings for you. Your prayers have been answered with this change. Let go of the old, and don't worry about the changes. They are truly for your best. And here's a little bit just about the background of this butterfly maiden archetype and goddess. So, butterfly maiden is a Hopi Native American Kachina, which means spirit, who ensures that the crops yield healthy and bountiful harvests. She's a springtime goddess who helps us escape from any cocoon situation that's trapping us or impeding our growth or joy. If you're feeling stuck, she's a wonderful goddess to call upon during the emerging process. She will also guide you through life's transitions and help you spread your wings. I hope that you are feeling this message. I know I 100% am feeling this message. This week in astrology is massively transformational, and it is like a cocoon moment, but one that will transition over about the next 20 years. So there's a really big cycle shift that is occurring. And I can also feel as we shift next week into Aquarius season, that shifting that's happening now. Another layer to this is that all of the planets in the sky, okay, recording this on the week of January 15th, all of the planets in the sky are direct. They're in forward motion, and that's going to go on until May. So there's a evolutionary process, an expansion process that's occurring. Even if you're not feeling, I'm not talking about being extroverted and being seen and like being in the limelight. I'm more talking about layers that are naturally shedding and what needs to be let go in order for us to step into this new paradigm. So we are stepping into a new paradigm as on Saturday, Pluto goes from 15 years in Capricorn to, and I've been talking about this all through 2023. I talked about Pluto and Capricorn. Hopefully, you were listening. And now Pluto is going into Aquarius for 20 years. And what that's going to bring is the higher frequencies of Aquarius, and look for Aquarius in your birth chart because that house or houses is going to matter. Um, what is going to happen in a 20-year process is whatever wants to occur in order to take you into higher alignment with your authenticity, your like siren call of weirdness, you're totally being yourself because that is the Aquarian energy. It is, I am 100% me. I know I'm freaky deaky. There's parts of me that don't fit in with society, and I love it. And it's weird. And I'm unique in my own special way. And anything that is not in that vibration gets like pulled out. So that could mean that, if there's a situation like a situation ship or a job or a friendship, like whatever it is that you are not able to be yourself, you are not able to express as who you are, and there are parts where you are dimming to fit in, that is a process over 20 years. It's a very long time that will be revealed. What else will be revealed during this time is the any corruption. Now I'm going talking about external society. Any corruption that is, let me just say, any corruption's going to be revealed, and we're going to see it in the technological field, in the digital field, in the places of power that have power over large groups of people. So I'm talking about government. I'm talking about disempowerment, coming from disempowerment, inequality to whatever needs to happen to bring us to a more equal and just society. It's going to come to the surface, and we're going to have more freedom fighters than ever, like MLK, like freedom fighters coming up and dedicating their lives to humanitarian causes, to having a more just society, to making this world the best place that it could be. And we all know that there is a lot of fucked up shit, excuse my French, on this planet, especially in 2023. It was really at the surface, it was really in our faces. And this shift with Pluto going into Aquarius, the goal through all of that, the reveal of the corruption and the reveal of the violence and the reveal of the you know entities of power that puppeteer our world, is for the disruption of that and the crumbling of those societies. So the reason why this is such a big deal, Aquarius, Pluto moving into Aquarius, is the corruption of those power forces are continuing to crumble, and we're continuing to have the people of this planet be raised up into a more equal power plane. And part of what happens there is our own internal, I'm going to use the word violence, like our inner violence that we may not have awareness around within ourselves. For example, saying toxic things to yourself, telling yourself a disempowered story, any way that victimhood mentality might show up, where you or the people in your life like blame something outside of you, will also begin to crumble over the next 20 years, because these are the things, this internal story and this internal paradigm of victimhood, that keep us in a situation where there's someone overpowering us. So it's an evolution of empowerment, and it's going to get better and better. That doesn't mean it's going to be easy. at all. And it also doesn't mean that there won't be similar things that happened in 2023 that were destructive, and that were scary, like, Israel Palestine. I'm not saying that that's not going to happen. That would be a lie and, crazy for me to just make that sort of statement. But what I am saying is that there will be a speed, the frequency of which we are evolving, and what is occurring that is at the lower vibration occurs to pull that lower vibration down and out, so that we can all move towards that more loving, just, and equal world. And I'm not just talking about society, because we're all connected. You know that, but we're more connected than we've ever been before because of technology, right? Aquarius rules technology. So there's so many overlapping forces of, transformation that butterfly made in, that are just happening on so many levels that we may just not even be aware of. So I'm going to share the screen and talk to you, on the day-to-day level about the astrology that's coming through. Okay, here it is. All right, hopefully you can, whoops, hold please. I just totally lost my chart. Here it is. Come on, screen share. Okay, we are back. Pluto is also the revealer of inauthenticity, any lies. Like, what's so exciting for me about this time is the truth. I'm really into, like, what is the truth when we're fed a certain narrative from the media, and we're fed certain stories from big business, from marketing, from, the powers that be that we can't see. And the truth underneath those smoke and mirror shows, it's going to be easier to find that truth, and that, like, make it brings me to tears, to be honest with you. I'm getting emotional about how excited I am. Okay, so here we are, January 15th. We have the sun in Capricorn, 24 degrees, Pluto at its anaretic degree, which means the very last degree point, that it's going to be in Capricorn. And oftentimes in the anaretic degree, some weird things happen. So just keep your eyes out, I guess, into what's going on in the world. Keep your eyes out. Strange things happen at the anaretic degree, and internally, old stories could come up too. Victimhood mentality could come up too, because of the anaretic degree, it, like, pulls up the sludge that's at the bottom, so that there can be a cleaner transition. So we got Pluto hanging out at this last week. Pluto's going into Aquarius on the 20th, as is the sun going into Aquarius on the 20th. We just had Mars move into Capricorn, so it's in the early degree. It moved over the weekend on the 13th. Yo, Mars in Capricorn is such an awesome placement if you want to get shit done. If you have been, let's say, at the end of 2023 and into the beginning of 2024, not feeling the motivation to do what you know that you need to do, that's because Mars in Sagittarius, it's not a grounding force of earth building foundation, sitting and doing the work. Mars in Sagittarius is looking out, it's looking for expansion, it wants to learn, so it's intaking information. And Capricorn takes that information and puts it into a real action taking pace. So Mars is the planet of action and doing, and now Mars in Capricorn with that earth force, the doing force, the slow and steady build is a really supportive aspect for you to like sit down and do the things that you know you need to do or you want to do that are taking you towards your goals and your desires. That means putting things on the calendar. It means making investments towards your growth. Capricorn is time. Capricorn is also money because it rules work and finances. So it's like, what is the investment towards what you are building that you want to make? Because this is a really good time for it. It's also a good time to do the kind of building, and I'm not talking about building a house. I'm talking about if you have a project that you're working on, taking the time, prioritizing that project, prioritizing your goals that are down the line. Uh, Mars is not going to stay here forever. Mars is a pretty quick moving planet. So we've got, let me check on the exact date for you when Mars moves out. And then I'm just going to pause the video, look at the exact. I'm so glad I did that because the date that Mars moves into out of Capricorn and into Aquarius is February 14th, Valentine's Day. So let me reshare the screen. So in February, there's going to be a whole lot of Aquarian energy going through the skies. Um, and that is very exciting because Aquarius helps us connect to a cause. Like, what's the cause that you want to work towards? What is it that you are doing that makes the world a better place? And every single human has something that's special about them that they can do, that they can live into, that's literally making the world a better place. Whether they know it or not, it's like a domino effect. So it could be on a really big scale, like opening a magical mushroom church. I don't know, that one just came through. Or it could be a small scale that's also a big scale, like reducing your waste, like not using so much plastic, not throwing so much stuff away, simplifying. There's so many ways to express it. So in this time, for the rest of January, at least in mid February, Mars is in Capricorn and it's going to help you take the action. You may already feel that force that's helping you work towards your goals, work towards your dreams and your desires and the things that you want to achieve. So if you want to do something like climb Mount Kilimanjaro in 2025, use this time to get it in the books, to buy what you need to buy to prepare for it and get it in your calendar because Mars is on fleek right now. Mars is in its boss energy, it's in its CEO energy. How are you using this energy to boss up? Whatever. How are you using this energy to boss up, to lean into that? You are the boss of your life and you're in charge. You're in charge. So now's the time to do the things, take the action, set the dates, plan the things, so that when we go over into February and Mars, Pluto, and the Sun and Mercury eventually will all be in Aquarius, and we're going to be a lot more mind focused. We're going to go from the earth element to the air element and into that humanitarian pull, into the pull of thinking in new ways, of looking at things differently, of leaning into the eclectic energy, the freak flag fly energy. I'm super, super excited about it. And right now, we're doing what we need to do to prepare for that shift where time will move a little faster, the frequency will be higher, I'll also say because of that, it's really important to do practices that will keep you grounded during this time. I believe I shared that last week, that this is a time, we are living in the times where the sun's energy is impacting Earth in a completely new way. We're living in a time where we're about to go into a paradigm shift that will take place over a 20-year period of time. It is faster, higher frequency energy, and it is very important that we remain grounded in our body. So that means the practices that keep you grounded, like for example, yoga, kundalini, getting outside, putting your feet on the earth, even if it's snowing, taking a shower, very grounding, taking a bath, doing art, like whatever brings you to the present moment and doesn't feel like distracting energy, so important during this time, because I think distraction is going to be an even bigger challenge than it's ever been before. That's part of Aquarius energy. All right, so that's the big stuff that I'm gonna leave us with that. Whatever you are wanting to plan for your future, now is the time to at the least, just grab your magic wand, write it down, write what you want to happen, write what goals you have for 2024. Mars in Capricorn is supporting you and taking the action and helping you lean into your boss energy. Pluto going into Aquarius is going to help us reveal our authenticity on a whole other level. It's going to help us express in a new way. It's going to help us open our minds to new perspectives, maybe new mind opening opportunities, whatever those look like for you. And we are going through a transformation, a butterfly maiden transformation. And sometimes during the transformation process, it feels like we are lost or confused or, going back and forth. And this is the goddess to ground into, to remember that anything that goes out is making space for something that's more aligned to come in. What I want to leave you with is the I Have a Dream speech. Receive, hang out, stay here and listen to it. It's only a couple minutes. It's just an excerpt. And this is really inspiring. This day is just so inspiring. And what is it that our dream is now? As we're growing and expanding and evolving collectively. Here we go.
I have the pleasure to present to you Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. I am happy to join with you today in what will go down in history as the greatest demonstration for freedom in the history of our nation. Years ago, a great American in whose symbolic shadow we stand today signed the Emancipation Proclamation. This momentous decree came as a great beacon light of hope to millions of Negro slaves who had been seared in the flames of withering injustice. It came as a joyous daybreak to end the long night of their captivity. But 100 years later, the Negro still is not free. 100 years later, the life of the Negro is still sadly crippled by the manacles of segregation and the chains of discrimination. 100 years later, the Negro lives on a lonely island of poverty. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will they be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream that one day, even the state of Mississippi, a state sweltering with the heat of injustice, sweltering with the heat of oppression, will be transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice. I have a dream. My four little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream. I have a dream that one day, down in Alabama, with its vicious racists, with its governor having his lips dripping with the words of interposition and nullification. One day right there in Alabama, little black boys and black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and white girls as sisters and brothers. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day every valley shall be exalted. Every hill and mountain shall be made low, the rough places will be made plain, and the crooked places will be made straight, and the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together. This is our hope. This is the faith that I go back to the South with. With this faith, we will be able to hew out of the mountain of despair a stone of hope. With this faith, we will be able to transform the jangling discords of our nation into a beautiful symphony of brotherhood. With this faith, we will be able to work together, to pray together, to struggle together, to go to jail together, to stand up for freedom together, knowing that we will be free one day. This will be the day when all of God's children will be able to sing with new meaning, my country tears of thee. Sweet land of liberty of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim's pride. From every mountainside, let freedom ring. And if America is to be a great nation, this must become true. And so let freedom ring. From the prodigious hilltops of New Hampshire, let freedom ring. From the mighty mountains of New York, let freedom ring. From the heightening Alleghenies of Pennsylvania, let freedom ring. From the snow-capped Rockies of Colorado, let freedom ring. From the curvaceous slopes of California. But not only that, let freedom ring from Stone Mountain of Georgia. Let freedom ring from Lookout Mountain of Tennessee. Let freedom ring from every hill and molehill of Mississippi, from every mountainside. Let freedom ring, and when we allow freedom ring, when we let it ring from every village and every hamlet, from every the words of the old Negro spiritual, free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, we are free at last.
Thank you guys for watching. I am sending you so much love. I hope you have the best day ever. Have a beautiful one.